eh, eh. I don't want to live to be 100. Who would want to be 100? I wouldn't mind it. Welcome to superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'm going to be telling you 5 things like how you can live to be 100. All right. And hey, Corey, I see you in the chat here, and I see what you're saying, and I agree. Okay, so it's like one of these things that for my show, I never know what to talk about, right? For some reason, I just kind of thought about what's my secret to life, man. I figured like, okay, like I'm over 50, so I made it halfway to 100, so I must be half right, you know. So hey, Shecky. So let's just start off with it, okay? And so this is based on absolutely no science whatsoever. Okay, it's my only my total opinion. Use it at your peril, or use it at your leisure, or use it for your entertainment. I don't care. So here we go. 5 ways to make it to 100 with my total super pilotish opinions here. Okay, and I'll bet you this will be quite a bit different than anything else you Google out there. So okay. Yeah, because it's not scientific or nothing. Okay, here we go. Number 1 is genetics. Make sure you're born to be living to 100. Yeah, so I mean, genetics plays a huge factor in all kinds of I don't know, health issues, or just with your life. A lot of times you're just genetically predisposed to this or that. Maybe you have darker skin so that you're less chance of getting skin cancer, or maybe you have I don't know, a cancer gene that runs in your family. There's remember I took a course at university, and they were talking about different genes and what would make you predisposed to this or that or that. And yeah, there's a couple of like actual cancer genes there that it's like, oh, they got the gene, they're gonna die of cancer, and it's like it's just a matter of when. So it's like, if it and it's it can run in the family. So if you had that actual gene and you're smoking 4 packs a day, you're not going to live too long. You're going to get that cancer quicker. Or you got a wood burning stove in the house, same thing. Or you're exposed to industrial chemicals at work or something that's going to trigger that gene, and off you go, cancer land. So yeah, genetics plays a huge thing. They usually say women live longer than guys on average. Yeah, I guess so. But then the guys, they're historically, guys have worked in more dangerous workplaces than women. And guys they'll drive faster in their cars, they got more testosterone, they're more aggressive, they'll smack their head in a bar fight and die. So yeah, there's like on average, yeah, women will live a little bit longer. But I mean, if you're I don't know, there's okay, be born a woman. How's that? I don't know if that whole identifying thing works on that, but we don't talk about that on the super pilotish channel. Number 2. Okay, this goes into Corey's comment he made right off the bat. So this is basically, it's kind of like I'm giving you some do's and don'ts, I guess. So here's a don't for you. Don't be got to make sure I'm spelling it right. Here you go. Don't be miserable. So, yeah, you know what? And my thinking behind don't be miserable is like, you ever see anybody they get interviewed by the local news or something like that, and here's this little old lady, and she's sitting in the nursing home, and they say, "Oh, what's your secret to living a long time?" And she says, "Oh, I just keep getting up in the morning." God doesn't want me yet. Stuff like that. They're never like, I wish I would have freaking died 50 years ago. You don't hear that, right? So I think if you're happy, makes you live a little bit longer. And there's stress hormones that can damage your heart. There's all that other sciencey kind of stuff there. But yeah. Oh, that's another one too. Spite. Yeah, my grandmother, she stayed alive. She'd say, "Oh, I'm staying alive out of spite." Yeah, that's one of the ones that the old people do it. That's how I got my psychology degree, was out of spite. Because I was like, I got kicked out of a couple of universities, and then it was like years later, I was like, you know what? I gotta finish up this degree, because there's like, I'm seeing all these like girls walking around saying, "I have a psychology degree and you don't," and then I'm like, you're dumb. I'm smarter than you are. So why do you got a degree and I don't? I'm lazier now. That's why. So I went back, and out of spite, I wanted to get that degree, so that when I ever ran across somebody that's like, "Oh, I have a degree in psychology. I have a BA in this," I wanted to say, "Yeah, I got one too. It's worthless. It's a piece of junk. Waste of money." Yeah. But anyways, some degrees are better than others. If you got an engineering degree, that's a good one. Nursing. Kind of drawing a blank on other ones. So anyways, don't be miserable. Here we go. And we got another don't here. Here we go. Don't be obese. Okay. So being obese is I don't know. It's like they say it's bad for you. you know. And so that's another thing that you see when you like, this is just strictly by observation, what I've seen in my little over 50 years of being on the planet, is that anybody that's really old and they're pretty, and they're doing okay and they're not hooked up to machines, like they're not obese. And now there's a whole lot of ways to get obese and to not get obese, but that's up to you to, be, you just figure about it, like how much you got a like 100-pound backpack on your back, and like, okay, I'm just gonna live my life with a 100-pound backpack on my on my back. I can't lift a 100-pound backpack for my whole life. So that's what, it's hard on your knees, it's hard on your hips, and then this and that, and then it kind of gets a snowball effect of not so great health. And you never see a 300-pounder hitting 100. I'm just saying. Okay, now we're gonna get down to number 4. Okay. Oh, I'm kind of running out of room a little bit on my whiteboard here. Okay, I'll keep it short here then. Okay, so this one here is do your drugs in moderation. That's what that stands for, moderation. So yeah, it doesn't matter what the drug is. Don't go overboard on it. You see all the guys I see slumped over downtown, they're all methed out and coked up, and well, they don't think they have the money for that, but fentanyl, passed out. They're not going to make it to 100. They're not doing their drugs in moderation. So, and so that's another thing I found as far as, oh, hey, Michelle, I see you there. So, yeah, there's okay. When I was a little bit younger there, I had a job and I was delivering prescriptions for a pharmacy. So I got to go into all kinds of nursing homes, retirement homes, old people, like everybody. And I found the people that were the most healthy were on the least amount of medication. So there's some correlation, causation, this and this and this, but it's like it's just, hey, this is what I see. You want to make it to 100, don't be doing bags and bags and pills every day. Eat your veggies. Go for a walk, something like that. And it's What else could I say about the drugs in moderation? Or even still, there was like you'll see some of these old people they get interviewed, and I saw this one. It was like this whole guy down in Texas. He was like 105 or 110 or something like that. He's driving his truck around, chomping on a cigar. It's like, he's like, yeah, he only has a few cigars there. George Burns, like that's what Corey brought up about that too. George Burns, he was always talking about, oh, I have to make it to 100. I'm booked, and he was booked on his 100th birthday. I think it was in London, and he made it to 99 or something like that. And people asked him, hey, George, he would go have like, you see any any of his like documentaries on the guy? He's like, oh yeah, I'll go to the golf course at noon, have a few martinis, few cigars, come home, have a nap. And like he was playing golf up until he was like 90 something. And then it was like, yeah, like George Burns, man. But he would also have there was an old, I think there was like a VHS tape you could buy, the George Burns workout or something like that. So was that Shecky? He made it almost to 100, 364 days. Yeah. So yeah. And then there's another guy there too. I'm just thinking about Jack LaLanne, the Mr. Super Workout guy. He did everything absolutely perfect. Now, you got to be a little bit older to remember Jack LaLanne. Like if you're home sick from school, you might see Jack LaLanne working out on TV or something like that. But yeah, he did everything absolutely right. He ate right. He didn't really he didn't drink alcohol, he didn't smoke or nothing like that. He only made it to like 93 or something like that, and he died of pneumonia. So oh hey Dustin, yeah, that's right. He had a juicer too. Yeah, all those juicer infomercial commercials. Yeah. Having cool flashbacks here in the basement. So yeah, so the drugs in moderation there, and then some old ladies, you see them, they're like, what's your secret? I have a beer on the weekend, or they'll have, oh, I like my glass of wine before dinner, so it's like in moderation, that can make you feel happy, and any of your drugs don't. Yeah, so another thing that can happen if you're doing too many pharmaceuticals is that, and I saw that when I was delivering them, and so that the yeah, the old lady or the old guy would say, yeah, I got this, and then they're prescribing me this because my stomach hurt after that, and then after that my blood pressure went up, so I'm on this here too. So it's kind of like a cascade of side effects, and they just keep pushing more and more pills on you and stuff like that. So that's not really too cool. And what's that? Mona Moore is a big fan of compensarianism. Oh yes, compensarianism. I'm actually a compensarian myself. It's where if you're doing something that's bad for your health, you should also do something good for your health. Like say you want to go get a bottle of wine. Well, you can walk to the liquor store and beat up your liver after, something like that. Or if you want to have a great big chunk of cake, well, you got to walk off those calories somehow. So walk down to the fine pastry shop and get your cake and walk back and enjoy yourself, So anything bad you do, you kind of compensate it. That's compensarianism. And nobody really knows about that. So it's a very rare type of diet and lifestyle. I like it. So here we go. Number 5. Here's another one. Yeah. So drugs in moderation. I'm not saying drugs are bad. I'm saying in moderation. You're cool. All right. The other one, last one. Here we go. Another don't. Here we go. Don't be poor. So like I said about the guys all drugged out, passed out on the street, they're poor. They're not making it to 100. So usually if you're making it to 100, you got a roof over your head, you got food in your belly, you're doing okay, you got clean water to drink. So I mean, that takes care of a lot of problems right there. And then So you'll find out most of the people. I mean, you don't have to be rich, but I mean, you can't be like absolutely destitute. And so you're living in. I was looking around for the cheapest place to live in the world, and at one point, so how can I minimize my rent? Where's the absolute cheapest place to live in the world? At the time, it was. Where was it? Somewhere in Pakistan, a neighborhood in Pakistan. You could rent it. You could rent it like a little. You can rent an apartment for like $5 a month or something like that. But there's no running water. There's no electricity, and you crap in a bucket and throw it out in the street. So I mean, it's cheap rent, but there's a little bit of a you might want to go work a little bit more to buy something a little nicer. So so anyways, I would say don't be poor. Like you got to have enough money to, and you think about that too. If you have enough money where you're not worried about your next where your next meal's coming from, or oh my, how am I going to pay the light bill here to do? How am I going to pay my internet so that I can do a live stream? So it's that's an added level of stress that if you can do whatever you can to minimize your expenses, stuff you don't need, make a little cash over here, cutting the old lady's lawn across the street for your beer money, hey, whatever you got to do. And if you're not poor, that's less stress. And you see all these old people living to a ripe old age. They're not worried about where their next meal's coming from. They got a nice roof over their head, clean place to live in. There you go. That all helps out. If you got rats running around and mice pooping on your counter, well, you're going to get an infection and die. So, hey, welcome to the superpilotish channel. You'll find out all about rat poop and mouse poop and infections. So, anyways, yeah, you got to keep on top of that. So here we go. We are gonna recap here five ways to make it to 100. Here we go. Number one, be born lucky. That's easy to get, right? Don't be born in Afghanistan. Okay, and okay, number two, don't be miserable. Yeah, that's just well, who wants to be miserable anyways? That's a lot of, like, for me, if I ever I think I'm too lazy to get miserable because it's like that's a lot of work. You got to go hate people and stuff, and like, it's easier just to go, oh boy. Yeah, if you think about, someone's pissing you off or something, just think about like, can you imagine how terrible that guy's life is? Or she's all bitchy and everything. It's like, can you imagine how everyone at work thinks about her or her family? Like everyone hates her guts. She's being such a, eh, like, okay, you're a little nasty to me, but man, you're doing it to yourself. So that's a neat way of thinking about not being miserable. And then okay, number three, don't be obese. Way easier said than done. But hey, you want to get the big 100? There's no way of getting around it. That's just the way it is. Do all your drugs. Drugs are not bad if they're in moderation. So, anyways, yeah, like okay, I'm not going to talk about the any nasty fentanyl stuff or crystal meth or any of that stuff, but that's a mess. No one cares. Okay, one day some people will, and they'll do something about it. Okay, and then number five, don't be poor. Don't be born in Afghanistan. um, yeah, and have a certain level of income so that you can have okay food, clothing, and shelter. A little bit of dignity goes a long way. And there you go. Those are the five ways to make it to 100 in my total non-scientific opinion. So you could totally go against them if you want and prove me wrong when you're 100. I hope you do. So, okay, so we're going to go and check a few questions here. And I don't probably won't be any. Oh, and Wrench is in here too. Hey, I missed you sneaking in there, Wrench. Okay, I'm just going to. Yeah, my freebie mouse is still working very nicely. I like free stuff. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Okay. Yeah. So we got Okay, not really a whole lot of questions. Some interesting comments in here. Oh, here we go. And Wrench is saying, "Is 100 worth it?" Discuss. Okay, that sounds that sounds like someone's being like a high school teacher or something like that. Discuss. Yeah, is it worth it being to 100? Good point. It's a lot of I've known a few people that are, that were older and are older. And yeah, they'll say, "Oh, 100? Who wants to get to 100? Why would I want to get to 100? I don't know, because you got to do a live stream on Monday, maybe." But yeah, some people they're just like it's in their head that they just don't want to make it to 100. I know one of my grandmothers was like that, and she told me a story of when she was a little girl. She went over to her friend's house, and she said, "My great grandmother's upstairs in the bedroom. She's 100. Do you want to go see her?" And so she was like, "Yeah, okay." So they went up the stairs, and then opened up the door into the bedroom where the old great grandmother was there. And and that grandmother, she saw it was. She said it was just this little gray thing, and I said to myself, I never want to get there. But she actually did. But her days were off. She thought she was. I think she actually turned 100, but she was kind of losing it, and so she died like just before 101, I think. And anyways, so but yeah, and she turned into that little gray thing and just kind of withered away. But yeah, but it's like yeah, I know. Is it worth it getting to be 100? I think if you have all your faculties and your mobility and keep your strength up a little bit, I don't think it's bad getting to 100. And then okay, what else we got here? Okay. All right. And okay, very good. Trying to see what else is there's some I'm still getting used to like the people that they can do the live streams, and it's just like like this here is pretty easy. I mean, I like all you guys showing up here, but if I had like 50 people in here and the chat's going up and down, I'd be like, freaked out. But anyways, here we go. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so that's about it. Oh, hey, Jordan, just popping in here, eh? I think, yeah. Well, thanks for coming by, anyways, Jordan. Oh, Jordan's here. We gotta go. So, anyways, no, it just turns out that way. I'm gonna be taking off here, and yeah, that is about it. So today is Friday, and I did make some compost tea yesterday. So I don't know. I'm gonna be busy this weekend, but I took a few little videos. And for anyone interested in compost tea, next week sometime I'm gonna throw up a I'm gonna throw up I'm gonna throw a video onto YouTube and about how to make your compost tea. And yeah, that's about it. Today's Friday, so I'll see you guys back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. You guys have a great weekend and happy hacking if you're doing any computer stuff. And thank you for watching. Bye.